Hey, welcome back to another essential movie that you should probably check out. This week we're going over Sunset Boulevard. This is a movie that I didn't know anything about, but was pleasantly surprised to find another origin movie for a phrase that I've heard a million times in my life. This is the movie where the line, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille," comes from, which, like I said, is something I've heard a million times in my life and never knew that it was from this. Sunset Boulevard is a 1950 film noir drama named after the major street in Hollywood, which is the center of the American movie industry. This film is about a struggling screenwriter named Joe Gillis who gets wrapped up in the crazy life of a former silent film star named Norma Desmond. The movie starts with a voiceover explaining the scene that we're seeing unravel. Media, police, ambulance are all driving up to this 1950s mansion on Sunset Boulevard. And in the pool is a dead man. And the narrator wants to explain to us how this has come to be before the media and everybody blows it out of proportion or exaggerates the wrong details of this story. We find out that 6 months earlier, a very down on his luck and behind on his bills screenwriter named Joe Gillis is approached by repo men coming to take his car because he is 3 months behind on his payments. Joe takes a script that he's been working on and heads down to Paramount Pictures to try to sell his story, where he overhears a script reader named Betty Schaefer very harshly critique his story. The long and short of the scene is that Paramount does not buy his script, and Joe is no better off than he was when he left the house. While driving home, he sees the repo men again and tries to get away before they take his car. He pops a tire and, as a way to escape being caught, turns into what he thinks is an abandoned mansion, parks his car in the garage, closes the doors, when he is approached by the homeowner and her butler. There is a case of mistaken identity here, and I'm going to say this slowly and clearly because it kind of sets up for you exactly who Norma Desmond is personality-wise here. Norma mistakes Joe as the man who is at her house to deliver the coffin for her dead monkey. We don't know anything else. We don't know if it was a pet, a companion, if she found him. I think I had read a quote somewhere that somebody said they were more than friends. There was no real explanation of why this lady had a monkey. And I think that right off the bat caught my attention. Not to mention, look at this monkey. This is a terrifying example of a monkey. Now, this is also 1950, so their special effects and their makeup was not what it could have been or maybe should have been, but this monkey is terrifying. I think the only other monkey I've seen that has been scarier than that one is maybe the Mickey Mouse monkey from Babes in Toyland, but that's another movie review, I'm sure. When Norma finds out that Joe is a screenwriter, she hires him against his will, kind of, to doctor a script that she has been writing that is way too long and not good. She pays off his car debt, she pays off his apartment debt, she moves him into the guest house of her mansion, and kind of just gets her fingers in every aspect of his life so that he couldn't leave even if he wanted to. We find out that Norma has had a really difficult time transitioning from silent films to talking films, and that it has not gone her way. She has kind of been forgotten by most of her fans, but she is planning this elaborate return back to film for her fans, which don't actually exist. And it wasn't until right before I started filming this review that I really kind of connected with that, in the sense that, for those of you that know, my comedy and my magic and even my balloons, everything is super interactive. There's a lot of audience participation. And over this last year, a lot of performers in that area have moved over to these Zoom call meetings or online shows that I haven't been able to make that transition on account of I need audience participation for what I do. This talking to a camera with no reaction, no feedback, is really out of my comfort zone and very difficult for me. And I cannot wait until I can make my triumphant return back to performing in front of people and live audiences. And being stuck in my house for the majority of the last year, I fully understand why Norma is losing her mind, because I'm right about there too. However, Joe still has the writing bug and finds out that one of his ideas is starting to gain a little traction in Hollywood, but the script needs to be fleshed out. He starts sneaking out at night to work with Betty Schaefer on fixing the script to sell to the studios. Norma becomes incredibly jealous and tries to sabotage what she thinks is an affair, which may or may not be the truth. Joe tells Betty to come over to the house on Sunset Boulevard, where he can show the kind of person he is and the life that he's been living, and essentially breaks off any kind of connection that him and Betty have had. Norma thinks she has won and got him back until he starts packing to leave. Norma decides that the best way to stop him from leaving is to shoot him a couple of times. You know, as you do. This film does a really good job of showing a toxic relationship and how a manipulative or mentally abusive person can get their hooks into you. And of course, the worst case scenario of what could happen in that situation, as we find out that the man in the pool from the beginning of the movie is none other than Joe Gillis, our main character. Norma goes back into the house and starts getting ready for her return to the movie industry, which in her mind is what is playing out as the cameras show up and the police are interrogating her and the passerbys are surrounding the house. She is interpreting this as her fans coming to welcome her back. It's really kind of a shame, to the point where you almost feel bad for her, except that she was kind of a terrible person. But to be fair, Joe wasn't all peaches and creams. Wow, really? Did I say that? If you guys unsubscribe, I will totally understand, and there would be no hard feelings. But if you do stay subscribed and tell your friends, thank you very much, because I don't know if I will ever be able to stop saying things like that. And the movie ends with her making the famous line, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille." And then the screen kind of loses focus, and cut to black, the end of the film. Wow, I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. And I've kept thinking about it over the past couple of days as well. If you are into older movies and you haven't seen this, definitely put it on your list and check it out. I definitely think that an interesting aspect of this movie or really the movie industry in general, is that even now, 70 years later, fame is a mentally taxing thing to be a part of. You see a lot of celebrities go off the tracks because of what happened to them in the industry. I don't know if that's something that will ever change. I don't know if people are really meant to have that kind of attention, which is weird because that's what I would like. No, I think there's a lot of pressure and stress that goes into constantly being watched that I don't think anybody is really prepared for. I could be wrong though, but I'll let you guys discuss amongst yourselves. And of course, that's a weird thing to say from somebody making videos and posting them online, hoping to reach millions of people at some point. But who knows, maybe a future revisioning of this will be about how I rose to stardom through my movie reviews on YouTube. I probably won't have a pet monkey though, because I'm not a big fan of pets. But maybe I'm only saying that because I don't have a monkey. Maybe a monkey would change my mind. Which does bring us to one of my favorite parts of this entire endeavor, the scratching. Let's check it out. Alright, so here's the scratching off of Sunset Boulevard. Man, I really hope there's a monkey under this. Let's see what we got here. I don't think that's a monkey. Oh, no. It's Joe in the pool. That's sad. And there we got Joe in the pool. So that is the scratching off of Sunset Boulevard. Next week is All About Eve from 1950, which is another one I have not heard of. I'm very curious to see what's going to be in that movie that I've been referencing all of my life and I had no idea where it came from. I want to give a very big thank you to all my Patreon subscribers whose names are going to pop up in just a second. I want to thank anybody who is just subscribed to YouTube and watching these videos. I hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure you comment below, hit those buttons, the subscribe and like and all that. And I will catch you next Tuesday. Later days.